Welcome to Big Ideas Little Table. I'm Peter.
And I'm Chris.
And today we discuss pickleball, which Chris is an expert at, the regional champion.
No.
No? Is that a different pickleball?
What the rules are is you get a jar of pickles and then you have to mush them into some sort of mass of a ball, and I think you just tag each other with them repeatedly.
Well, that's what I thought pickleball was. It seemed fun. I did it with the kids all the time. I'm like, that's it.
Surprise!
Oh man, my wife likes it. You should hear the things she says.
Beaning children. Perfect. You're my hero.
Yeah. I'm just trying to teach proper rearing of these children. You know, they lack these skills in today's society.
You want to keep them on their toes, and so the point of the game is to surprise the opponent with a ball of mashed up pickles, just out of nowhere. Grocery store, school, potentially like a church, someplace that you shouldn't be disruptive, and that's when you just scream pickleball and just
get him.
Yeah,
that actually seems more fun than the actual game. Also, it teaches a life lesson, like always be ready. Like you never know when a pickle's gonna slap you in the face.
Kid comes in for a hug. He's like, "Dad, I love you." Just like, "I love you." Pickleball,
gotcha in your face.
Yes. You never know.
We gotta create like a fun saying too, like you got pickled.
Can we do this? Is there a way to start this up?
I think we just started our own. Yeah, patent pending.
Instead, we've moved from T-shirts to actual, activities.
Actual activities, but we're gonna have to call it pickleball is already a thing, so it's gonna be pickleballed. ED.
Oh, so you've been pickleballed.
You've been pickleballed. Yeah. This is the past tense. Is what we're taking the past. They can have the future.
Oh my god!
But anyway,
meta.
Pickleball. Apparently, it's the fastest growing sport in the U.S. My brother and sister-in-law talk about it all the time. I've heard other people talk about it, and they rave about it. I even met some guy at the hospital claiming to be the pickleball champion.
Senor Pickle.
Senor Pickle. Which I've taken his nickname, by the way. I was like, that's too good.
Mantle.
That's me.
You're gonna get it tattooed like on your body.
I am Senor
Pickle.
Right there, actually. I'm gonna go Senor Pickle. I'll have to do like the license plate and take off a few vowels, but I think I can fit the consonants in.
Just make sure you get that anye in there. That really sells it. Senor.
I'm like, Senior Pickle? Are you like an old pickle?
He's an old man.
Which actually would work. That's a tattoo that would get better with time. Like as it ages, people, I'd go from Senor Pickle to just Senior Pickle.
You're like, I'm playing pickleball today, but I'm in bed by 5, so.
So pickleball, I've never met anyone that raves about it. Like, let me see how to put this. I never met any young people that rave about it.
So Senior Pickle is better.
The only people that talk about this, and I can see where the growth is older people. In fact, when I looked at the video online on how to play pickleball, it was a bunch of like 50-year-olds playing on a court.
It's like step 1, be retired.
Yeah. Exactly. Step 1, have your AARP card ready to go.
Thank goodness.
So that's the first thing you should know about pickleball is I don't think it's this. They make it sound like this trend that's happening in the world. No, I only think it's happening with older, mid to older U.S. adults.
They're like, you're going to want to start the game around 1 o'clock so you have plenty of time to take your night meds.
That's awesome. Also, we take a break halfway through just to rest and watch CNN or Fox, whichever you prefer.
Rub some Bengay on your hips to make sure that you don't get too strained. So great.
So speaking of that, so this is how pickleball works. In my rough estimate, I watched a couple of videos, I read a few things. So it is the fastest growing U.S. sport. I don't know if you can count esports. I think they do that differently. I would think esports, but apparently pickleball is there. So pickleball... They make it sound like it's this brand new thing. Like, oh my gosh, it's blowing my mind. It's basically tennis and badminton and like ping pong. Okay. It's the same concept. You have paddles. Well, you know tennis. Let's start with that.
Sure.
So there's a tennis court and it has 3 box rectangles basically on each side. Yeah. And you have a net.
Uh-huh.
Pickleball is the same, except picture a tennis court. You can fit roughly 4 pickleball courts in the size of a tennis court.
Okay.
So it's the same concept, net, but smaller net. I think it's like 36 inches. Okay. Court, but smaller court. Okay. And you can tell older people have done this because they're like, we don't want to run so much. We need a small court.
Shrink this thing down.
And then instead of a racket where it's like the
Like
strings.
interlocking
Yeah,
strings, yeah.
exactly. It's just a paddle.
Okay.
Like
Badminton.
Yeah, exactly. Like badminton, ping pong,
Although
something like that.
badminton does have the inner. No,
Oh, wait, no,
ping
not
pong.
like badminton. You're wrong. Yeah, sorry.
Ping pong.
I just had to point that out.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
Listen, are you wanting
Wrong,
to get
wrong, wrong,
pickleballed right now? Because I.
That would be awesome at the end. You've been pickleballed. And end it right there.
And
Yeah.
then cut it. Go fade to black.
That would be awesome. I may have to sneak out midway through this just to grab one.
There's only 2 of us here. You're not sneaking out anywhere.
I'm just talking to yourself. So, smaller court, paddles, and a wiffle ball.
Okay.
You know what a wiffle ball is? Just ball with holes.
Yes.
You take that, and essentially it's kind of the same rules as tennis. And I know people are going to skewer me because I know people are probably religious over this and be like, they're not the same rules. There's this and that rule.
I'm going to skewer you right now. Pickleball. No, sorry.
It's the same concept. You have the ball, you hit it over the net. It can bounce once, or you can return it right away.
Okay.
That's pretty much the gist. I'm sure there are rules. I'm sure you got to stand in certain places and do certain things.
I was going to say, do you have to stay, like the ball hits in the court, but if it's a smaller court, do you need to remain inside the
That I don't know. And honestly, I don't think it really cares. I don't think if you were to tell me like you have to stay in the court versus you have free access around,
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to change whether I like to do this or not. Now, I haven't tried it. This is me watching it.
Sure.
But just from my first impression of learning about it a little bit, I don't get the draw. I don't get the draw because I'm like, okay, I would just play tennis if that's what I wanted to do, or I would play. I would guess I wouldn't play badminton because who has badminton stuff lying around? I guess.
What is this, 18th century England?
Exactly. I'd play ping pong, or I would play tennis. So this is a weird hybrid in between for the person that's like, well, I don't want to run as much as tennis, and I'm not very good with small things, so they just like scaled it up. It's really funny too because let me grab my phone real fast. So I was reading about it, and there was this article about the creator of pickleball.
Like he's some sort of
like he's this
founder of a religion.
Yeah, exactly. Like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and I know they're not creators.
Don't you talk bad about Elon?
And then the guy who created pickleball,
He's right under there.
He's right up there. They're in the same crowd.
Visionaries.
So they had this big article on him, right? And the best is how they structure. This is how they start the article, right? It's so bad. Like it hurt to read this article. Joel M. Pritchard, who apparently was the founder.
Oh,
Joel M. Pritchard was in a real pickle. I was like, oh, come on,
God,
you did it.
Softballing these trash
And it gets worse. Okay.
dad jokes.
So then it goes on about like, oh yeah, he was in a real pickle because he was out with his kids one day.
And he was balling.
he was free balling, and the kids were like, "Grandpa, no, put it away."
Pants on.
That's when his caregiver came out and said, "All right,
Listen
back
here, Joel.
inside."
Pop those bad boys back on.
I feel like I have to read this like some intense article.
In a world where nobody plays outdoor sports anymore.
It's exactly like that. The Seattle businessman, Washington State Republican legislator, and father of 4.
Oh my
I'm like, why do we have to like? Does that add legitimacy? Like, he wasn't just some bum. He actually did stuff.
He was 5'10" with forget me blue, not blue eyes, beautiful auburn hair.
It goes on. Enjoying a summer day after a golf outing at his home, blah, 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 blah. His peaceful idyll was interrupted by his restless children. Like, who wrote this? This is like they used to write romance novels, and now they're writing articles for Fox News. He and his buddy, Bill Bell, which sounds like a made-up name. I'm just like, we got to give this. We can't say his real name. We got to make it up. Bill Bo Bev Bell. Yeah, that's it. Bill Bell. Sought to calm the tempest with an afternoon of activity on the local badminton courts. like.
What?
The tempest here is the kids want to play. Like,
You could just say your grandchildren are bored. But
no.
To calm the swirling storm within the children.
One problem, they couldn't find the right equipment for a proper game of badminton. Talk about like first world problems. Like, what are we going to do? We do not have the appropriate equipment for our game of badminton.
They're like, well, we're so thirsty, but we don't have the lemon wedges for the edge of the glass. How will we ever get hydrated?
This is like, you ever watch Downton Abbey or any of those British shows?
I haven't. I'm sorry. I'm not classy enough.
Yeah, you simpleton.
Okay, whoa.
These British shows, they always have, like, they're so complex, but the main problem is so, like, trivial. Like you said, it's like, but Arthur, how will we ever play football without the orange wedges? It is impossible. And he's like, that's what I've been saying, dear. There's only one thing I can do. I must kill myself. And you're like, whoa.
Hold on a second.
Things got real over a couple of orange wedges.
Listen, we were going to have tea, but instead of sugar, I added salt. How do we solve this problem? Like, another cup of tea?
No, it's impossible.
What do we do with this? It's wasted tea.
And then people always jump to conclusions too. He goes and like offs himself, and then another person kills someone else because they thought they were cheating on him. Anyway, like 5 people are now dead. By the end of the show, they're like, oh, look, the orange wedges have been here under the chair the whole time. Oh, look at that. And like, all the problems could have been solved if they just like spent 5 minutes and did some critical thinking. That's really what these shows should be called. Like,
let's stop for a minute.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Peter Nielsen. This is Masterpiece Classic. And today we have lack of critical thinking in London. Go.
You need to have a smoking jacket and a little pipe, a little fire. Can we do that on the set next time? We'll
That would be
a little
awesome.
Electric fire in the background.
I say. Great thinking, Chris.
Crikey.
That's Australian accent.
sorry.
This is an Australian.
I'm mixing up my accents now.
You're gonna be like lying on a crocodile or something.
Now let's look at this bugger over here.
So anyway, pickleball. Yeah, I just had to read that article because it's hilarious. Like, this guy had a real conundrum here. I had kids that wanted to play, but I didn't have the right equipment.
Damn it. Damn you.
So he takes his improper equipment and makes up this game.
I feel like this is something that every parent has done at some point. Like, okay, well, we have a bowling ball, but we're missing all the pins, so we'll just do it with stuffed animals, and we'll call it Squish Ball. Ta-da!
A squish ball is actually what my kid does sometimes. I'll be just hanging out on the bed or the couch, and he'll surprise jump on my wevels.
Oh, wow.
That's
they call it Squish Ball?
Real life squish ball.
He's already prepped for Pickleball.
He's already,
with the surprise attacks. We'll go talk to him right now.
Pickle D-ball. That's the game.
Bam!
That's the alternate game. You know how they have like the main game and they'll come out with like expansion packs? That would be what's the opposite of expansion? Like the reduction pack?
Destruction pack.
Destruction pack.
Listen, I think he's trying to like make sure that he doesn't have too much competition, too many siblings. He's trying to neuter you right now.
He's like, oh, I see you brought another one into the fold. Well, this must stop.
There can be only one Highlander.
He's a smart boy. Yeah.
Give him more credit.
Anyway, yeah. So like, where does this end? Will it end with like the silent game? It's like the brand new creator of the silent game is here for an interview. Well, how did you create it? Well, you see, Diane, it was really easy. I was sitting in my house and my kids were screaming bloody murder.
And they're like, don't worry, I'll write this article.
In a world where the children's raging tempest can't be calmed, we must come up with something to solve the crises that we're currently
I'm sorry, I've lost all my words.
That's brilliant. You got lost in the voice.
I was overwhelmed by my own
Like, who
genius.
is that?
Oh my God.
That's
I
exactly
was
what it is.
possessed by the movie man.
Patent pending, by the way, on Silent Game. I'm coming out with it. You heard it first time here.
The creator, Peter Nielsen.
So, based on what I said, and I know you've heard a few things.
Sure.
What do you think? Pickleball. Do you think it's something that you're like, I could really sink my teeth into this? You know, like
Really sink my balls into the. Oh, sorry. I feel like we already played this in like PE because of the exact same problem. It's just on a larger scale where they're like, oh, well, these kids are too, like, you know, you're like in 7th grade, so you're a 13-year-old idiot. And like, so they're like, everybody hates 13-year-olds. 13-year-olds hate themselves. It's just an awkward stage you got to get through. Like, the teachers don't like you, parents don't like you, you don't like you, your friends don't like you. It just is what it is. People who teach junior high, God bless you, because, oh my God, you are the real heroes. Anyway,
true.
I feel like in like PE or whatever, when they were like, okay, well, we got 30 kids and we got 2 tennis courts So everybody gets like a quarter of the tennis court, and 4 are you going to fit into that? And here's some paddles because we don't even have the rackets, and this is what we're playing. But they never called it pickleball, and now this guy, Joel,
yeah.
is claiming to have, PE teachers came up with this. Yeah, 20 years ago I was playing pickleball. So, no, I can't sink my balls into this one.
I agree. I will. Neither will I be sinking my balls into this one. Pickleball, though.
Yeah,
now we're talking. That
is
needs
the
to be a
future.
thing. That's pickleball is I guess that would be the present. Forget the present and go to the past. Pickleball. That's going to be the logo, the slogan.
Forget the present. Go to the past.
Go to the past. Pickleball.
We're running a commercial now?
Yeah, we're in a commercial. We're writing it as we see.
Oh my God. This is so meta. Do I need to do the voice again? I don't know if I can do it again. I'm getting busy.
Roll us out of here with the voice.
Forget the present. Return to the past. Pickleball.